It's the second annual Aztecs for Life blood drive. It's going on right now. We'll continue to do so until 8 o'clock. And as we mentioned, a lot of people have come on down here. But don't worry about that. They'll get you in and out here, and it's all for a very tremendous cause. Well, joining us here, in fact, the place looks a little different than it did last night when the Aztecs put a beat down on Jackson State. But he is very comfortable in this building, to say the least. Brian Dutcher, coach of the Aztecs, is joining us. So, Dutch, what do you think? A pretty good crowd out here today.
Unbelievable. I walked in, and every table's full, and what a great cause. You know, the blood drive is something that's helping everybody around the state of California and San Diego, and it's great that San Diego State's involved in such a cause.
Do you know how long it takes them to pick up the floor or put the floor back down?
They do it overnight, so I don't know what the hours are. Usually we're not in here. So
that's a good thing.
That's the first thing that Costa was saying when we walked in here, Coach. Is like, there was a floor here last night.
Well, it boggles my mind. Of course, technology being what it is, and nowadays, but the fact that there was a full-blown Division I college basketball game here last night, and then you got people laid out on tables giving blood. That's pretty cool.
I thought maybe we should have laid the tables on the court. We could have shot at this end. We could have played half court, and they could have given blood, and we could have made it more of a basketball affair. But this is nice. This is good.
Well, Coach, coming back from Maui, it was a mixed bag. Obviously, you play Duke, and that's a juggernaut team, and they're going to be good all season, although the Zags were able to get them, which was pretty impressive out there. Then, of course, a historic comeback against Xavier, third biggest comeback in San Diego State history, and then it just seemed like you ran out of gas against Iowa State. What did you take from that trip, and what can you use from that trip that's going to work for you for the balance of the season?
When you play such good competition, it really gives you a true picture of your team. And there were some things we weren't very good at. Rebounding, one of them. Conversion defense, we weren't getting back. And then ball pressure. And so maybe you play 3 games at home against non-entities, and you win, and you get comfortable, and you think you're better than you are. And so you get a slap in the face, you get some real reality, and then you go back to work. And that's what we're doing. We're back at work.
We were talking about that. UCLA went through something similar. You're playing Presbyterian, you look pretty good. And all of a sudden you're playing Michigan State, North Carolina, you don't look so good. But as a coach, I mean, this is something that you can remind them again, hey, you might have felt pretty good, everything's rolling along, and all of a sudden we play that tough competition, 3 games in 3 days, and we find out there are deficiencies we need to work on.
Absolutely, and I tell them that's every locker room in the country. That's not just our locker room. I mean, Oregon gets beat by Texas Southern, and you read the quotes from Dana Altman. We have to decide how good we want to be defensively and rebounding. And Pritchard says it's a crossroads. We have to decide if we're going to be better or we're just going to wallow around like this. And so I told the kids, this is every locker room in the country. And the ones that respond to their coaching, that buy in and say, you're right, I have to look in the mirror, I have to get better, and then we'll get better, those are the teams that improve. And there are excuse makers out there, programs where they say, I don't believe that, we'll get, we'll just hope we'll get better and it'll happen. And so I've got a good group of kids, and we went to work. Granted, the competition at Jackson State, they're ranked low, but still, you have to see improvement on the floor. And I thought I saw it even against Jackson State.
That was going to be my question. From what you saw against Iowa State to last night's game, maybe your fears are put to rest a little bit with some of the things you were concerned about?
Yeah, I thought we rebounded the ball better. Now, they're not a great rebounding team, but I look up, and Nathan Mensah, my freshman, has 11 rebounds in 14 minutes. And instead of going after it with one hand, we've got them going after it with 2. And it's teaching. We're teaching young guys how to play. And so sometimes the timeline is what the timeline is. They get better maybe overnight. Some things you can get better immediately at, but some things take time. And so we're trying to balance the stuff we can get better at right away with what's going to take some time to get better at.
When you lose critical senior leadership from the team of a year ago, guys that have been in the program and came through in a big way down the stretch to help propel you guys into the NCAA tournament, how do you replace that? I mean, when you suddenly have that next in line senior, junior, senior, upperclassman that you need to accept that role of leadership, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. How do you handle that?
When you lose Trey Kell and Malik Pope, those are players we played through. You would say those are franchise players for us. And then they're gone. It's not the NBA where your franchise players back 3, 4, 5, 6 years and you put pieces around them. So now we're looking who's going to be the franchise player on this year's team. Is it Devin and Jeremy with Jalen McDaniels? And are they ready for that responsibility? And and what are the best positions to put them in to have success. And so that's what keeps me coming to work every day. It's the excitement of saying I have to piece this together. I have to figure out, no matter what I say in the preseason, what looks good on paper, sometimes it doesn't look good on the floor. And so I have to look at tape. I have to keep working in practice and find out what we're really good at and try to take advantage of those players and put them in the best positions to be successful.
Aztecs head coach Brian Dutcher with us here on the Loose Cannons. Do you like the way the rest of the non-conference schedule sets up, plays out before you hit conference for your team as far as challenges for you?
Yeah, we got a real battle ahead of us coming up. Illinois State was picked to win the Valley. That's our next opponent. We fly across the country to Chicago, get in a bus 2 hours, and then play at 2 in the afternoon. And against a really good team. Loyola Chicago's in that league, and they got a lot of pieces back, and they picked Illinois State to win the league. So that's great respect. Then we come back, we've got USD. You know, they're playing good basketball, a nice win over, I think, Colorado at home, and they've got Mississippi State tonight, and we play them Wednesday in the building, and they've got 4 senior starters, so they're experienced. We go to Cal on Saturday. We've got BYU looming. So we've got a really, really competitive non-conference schedule that is going to challenge us and prepare us for conference.
How do you feel about Nevada's lofty status right now? I know you and Muss are longtime friends, and it's amazing what he's been able to do with all those transfer students out there. But having a team like that in the conference that's getting that kind of recognition, doesn't that sort of work for everybody in the conference?
It's great for the Mountain West. We need to be up there. We need UNLV back up there. We need New Mexico with their great history up there. We need to have multiple teams like that, and then we'll get multiple bids. But Nevada's doing what they have to do to anchor the conference right now, and they've got 4 fifth-year seniors in the starting lineup, and that's what you want to be. You want to be old, you want to be experienced. And so they have great carryover from last year, and Muss has done a great job. So the challenge is, like he'll have next year, how do I replace 4 fifth-year seniors?
Yeah.
And we're in college basketball, you're always retooling, rebuilding your team, and so like next year for us, we already know we have Malachi Flynn sitting out, who averaged 17 a game in the Pac-12. So we have pieces waiting in the wings here. But that's next year. We're all about right now, this year, and the next game. And we had a really good practice. We usually don't go this hard the day after a game. But we have deficiencies in a lot of things we're doing that need to be addressed, and the kids buy into that. That's why they practice hard today, because they know they're not as good as we need to be. And so they put a really hard practice in, and I was really encouraged by that.
Dutch, you've been around this college game for a long time. You've seen quite an evolution of the game, and we're on the cusp of another evolution with apparently the one and done being gone and the expansion of the G League, where a lot of the top high school players may opt to go there as opposed to going into the college ranks. What do you make of all this, and could it actually make the game better? Because you just mentioned the advantage Nevada has with these fifth-year seniors. I know every coach in America would love to have guys for 4 years out on the court and how much easier that would make their job. Are we ever going to get back to that in the college level?
Not at the major colleges like the Dukes and the Kentuckys. They're going to have the one-and-dones. You know, and if they can go right out of high school, they'll go out of high school, but they'll have that next cut that thinks they've only got to be in college a year or two anyway.
Right.
You know, that's what their lot in life is right now. Coach K's done an amazing job. You know, he's won with seniors over his career. He's won with freshmen. Now he's got freshmen again. And so what you're seeing is like a Duke team that's very good. They're going to be good all year, but are they going to be good enough to win the ACC over a veteran team like Virginia? You know, maybe they won't get a conference title like they used to get or a postseason title, but they're all making that run to the Final Four. You know, it's all about getting really good in March with young kids. So everyone's on a different tack right now, and the G League thing, I don't think that's a real good thing for these high school kids that think they're going to develop in the G League. You're talking about playing against 24, 25, 26-year-old men that are trying to feed their families.
Yes.
And you're 18 years old, and you're going to live away from home, and your G League team is not affiliated with an NBA team. You can go back into the draft after the G League, and that's a man's game up there. And if you're not careful, you're going to end up at a G League team that doesn't have a practice facility. You have to take an Uber to the junior college to practice, and it all sounds good. I'm going to get paid, but are you guaranteed beyond that 1 year if those grown men are up there beating you down in the G League? And it's a tough road to hoe for some of these young kids that think it's going to be easy.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations on the win last night. Continued success out here, and you're hearing it for Brian Dutcher. Come on out to the blood drive today, up until 8 o'clock. help out a lot of good people.
I had to get some of this karma before we go on the road.
There you go.
Karma, we are always here for you.
Great to see you guys.
Dutch,
always
thank
great.
you.
Brian Dutcher joining us right there, Aztecs basketball coach.